Kelly. You're definitely gonna want to get you a drink for this one. And yes, this is rosé. Fill all the way up. I need it, you guys. Like, I swear. I swear. I just kind of wanted to get on here and have a talk. Like we're friends, because I do consider you guys friends who actually do watch my videos. Because I know it's a select few, and I know I put out inconsistent videos and consistent content, and it's like all over the place what I post. But the people who stick around, I love you. And never feel, weird about commenting or anything like that, because I love to hear from you. All right. So anyways, I'm drinking rosé. It said rosé in the bottle. My man got me this, but it don't look like no rosé I've had. It said red rosé. And he got me like a handle. Yeah, it was his friend's birthday, and he got him one, and I think they were having like a sale or some shit, so then I got one. So anyways, I am here. It's probably gonna be a little awkward warming up into it. Yeah. I tried to do a video like this a few days ago, just kind of like talking about life and everything, and I was doing my makeup, but I kind of felt like, I don't know, I felt like I didn't really get my point across in the way that I wish I had, and I thought that like a little chill wine stream of consciousness vibe would be better. I did my hair. It's like midnight, but I did it for you guys, and I did these like waves. Guys, I hate to say it, but I might be retiring the like straight hair that I've been wearing ever since I was in the 7th grade. Cause I swear I've had the same haircut ever since I was in the 7th grade. Even if it's long, it's like the same. It's like all one layer, straight, parted to the side. And yeah, that's how I wore my hair for the longest time. But lately, it's kind of come to my attention that waves look better. Not necessarily like right now, because I literally just did this real quick for the video. But I just feel like when I curl my hair, it makes me look like my face look better and everything look better. So I'm gonna keep doing it. Change is hard. I think the reason why I always straighten my hair is because I always wanted straight hair when I was little, and that's an insecurity, babe. Everyone in the area is like Scandinavian and shit. Everyone who grew up here and whose parents are from here. My parents are not from here, so we were definitely not Scandinavian. But they have like the straight, super thin, usually blonde hair, and I simply did not. My hair was like frizzy, like I thought it was frizzy. It was not so, I don't think it was like super frizzy as much as it was thick, and I didn't see anyone with a thick textured hair besides maybe a couple people and my mom, and that's literally it. It's really funny though, because when I go and see my other family members, especially my aunt, she has kind of like the same textured hair as I do, and so that's so funny because I'm like, oh, she has hair like me. Kinda. Hers is a little bit even thicker than mine, but it's pretty much like in that same realm. And it's like, that's crazy. Because it's like I was growing up thinking like, oh, my hair, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, girl, you have an aunt in Ohio with like the same hair as you. Like, don't worry about it. And yeah, my mom never really knew how to take care of my hair or anything like that to make it more manageable or chiller. probably because her mom never did anything to her hair, and so it was just like a whole thing. And so yeah, I was insecure with my hair for the longest time, and then I got a hair straightener in the 7th grade, and that changed my life. And I straighten my hair every single day ever since then. Ever since 2007. Guys. So yeah, it's time for a change. But yeah, besides that, I mean, things have been weird lately. And I guess that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. POV, you're my therapist. But I just mentioned in my last video that my therapist fired me. Not really, but yeah. So I guess that's kind of like the main point of this video. I did want to talk about my mental. Talking about my mental drunk seems very unserious. But maybe that's the best time to talk about it. And I don't drink that much at all. Like, I never drink. I looked like down when I said that, but I wouldn't say I never drink, but I don't drink often. It sounds like I'm lying. Hand to the Bible. I don't keep alcohol in my apartment. You know, but this was a gift, okay? The thing with me when I'm drinking, like when I'm with my man or whatever, I just kind of end up going to bed before I'm too lit, and that's kind of been the deal lately. But yeah, so anyways, I've been struggling with my mental health for the longest time, and you guys know it. You guys know it, and I'm still trying to get to a better place. And yeah, it's been a long time that I've been, you know, trying to do this. And so I'm kind of at a part of my life where I'm just like, what now, I guess I would say. And it does worry me a little bit. Because it's just like, it seems like I've been doing so much, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like I'm not getting anywhere. And so that's kind of what it was in therapy. I don't know how long I've been going to see this lady, honestly. I will say that my concept of time is a little off. Just because I haven't really been working a normal job or anything like that. And so it's kind of hard to keep track of. But yeah, I've been going to therapy. I'm looking over there because that's usually where I sit when I do it, because it's on the phone or whatever, on Zoom. But yeah, so I would sit there and like I talk and everything like that. But the reason that I started, and when you do therapy, like they'll do like a care plan or whatever, is basically what you want to accomplish. And that's like the first thing that they'll ask you when you go in. It's like, oh, why are you here? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, because I have a lot of anxiety. I always laugh when it's not funny. It's not funny, but I think the reason why I laugh is because to me it seems so silly. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're anxious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of put myself down for it because I feel like the rest of the world doesn't take it serious. So then it's like, it's a form of protection for myself to like joke about it. But anyways, so I was just talking about like how I have a lot of anxiety and I would like to get rid of it because it's ruining my life and it's preventing me from doing jobs and having friends, even because I'm not trying to socialize, and you know, even around family I feel uncomfortable sometimes. So yeah, so much as like going to the store. And that's the first thing I used when I, like, as an example, right? When I told this lady I said, yeah, it's even stressful for me to go to the store. And I think she took that and ran with it. Because like the next time she wanted to talk about like, oh, what are some strategies you can use when you go to the store? And I'm like, oh, I put my headphones on and I just, zone out. But she was really just like focused on that and trying to find out ways so I could like go to the store in ease, which isn't gonna happen. I'm gonna do drive up, like, don't worry about it. But she don't know me, right? And it's really hard to explain anxiety to people because you can look up the definition, you can look up whatever the hell you want, but unless you're in it, you just don't understand. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. I've had it my whole entire life. As early as I hated my hair, I also had anxiety. And yeah, I think it's just really come to a boiling point recently because now it's like preventing me from doing shit. Before it has a little bit, but I was always able to just kind of like push through. But right now, where I'm at, it's like, it's almost like I don't want to. I do, but like my actions are saying otherwise. And so yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But one movie that I watched recently really freaking got the nail on the head there. And this is also embarrassing for me to say because it's like a children's movie. But oh god, what is it called? It's called like Turtles All the Way Down. It's like a John Green situation. But I was bawling because I was like, damn, they get it. Like, it's crazy, but it really controls all your whole mind. And I was thinking about how, like, she was literally at Applebee's. Like, she has OCD. I do not have OCD, but it's the same type of anxiety. Is like, you're so focused on your, like, inner mind, inner thoughts, inner whatever. You're not even paying attention to, like, what's happening around you. And that's kind of how it is for me. It's like, it controls everything. From the moment I wake up, from the moment I go to sleep, it's like controlling my life. And I don't like that. It's stuff like that that really inspires me to speak up, even if it's while I'm lit about this, because a lot of people don't. I think a lot of people experience it as well, but can't put the words to it. I'm having a hard time doing it as well, but can't find the words to explain it, or don't want to, because it is quite embarrassing. I sound British. It's quite embarrassing. It shouldn't be, but it is. I always want to act tough, right? I think a lot of people with anxiety do as well. Because it feels like we're on defense mode already. And so you don't want to let that guard down. You don't want to explain to people what's bothering you or that you're freaking the fuck out in this moment. Because it does make you look weak, right? It does. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Oh, if you have anxiety, you're weak. No, that's not true. But it makes you look pretty weak. Because it's like, girl, why are you freaking out? It's just the store. It's just talking to the cashier. Like, I promise you will be okay. But in the moment, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like, oh my god, they're gonna judge me. I'm not gonna do the right thing. Like, I'm gonna look stupid. Like, blah, 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 in your head. If we look back on my life, we don't have time. Well, I can make a video as long as I want. But we don't, like, I don't think nobody wants me to go all the way back. But I just think I've had a lot of interesting social interactions, and it's got me turned off to talking to people or putting myself out there, because in the past it's been weird. Like, I don't know how else to put it, honestly. I mean, I have said this before, but I was never bullied, but I always just felt like I didn't belong. And I always just felt like I didn't want to do anything wrong, because I didn't want anyone to judge me. I didn't want anyone to see me a certain way. I really behaved for the most part up until high school, and me acting out was not like your teen movie drinking and, you know, doing drugs and having sex. Like, I didn't do any of that shit, but I just didn't want to go to school, and so I would skip school or, you know, stuff like that. But that was it really for me. The rest of the time I would just behave, and I would do what was expected of me, and I wouldn't really go outside of that. Sometimes I trolled a little bit because that's just my personality, only when I felt comfortable enough to do that, right? But I really just did my best. Don't speak out of turn. Put other people first. Let other people go first. Let other people have a turn. Let people go in front of you. Like, shit like that. And I just never really put myself first at all. And that's kind of, I'm not like saying this poor me or like I'm the best because I, you know, always put other people first. Pause. I feel like me putting other people first is not because I'm a good person. That's not where I'm going with this. It's because I'm so afraid of looking like a bad person. And that's where we run into issues. Because I'm not just like behaving in class and doing all this because I want to be the best student. I don't give a shit about that. I just don't want to be seen as bad. Does that make sense? I don't know. But that's kind of how it is, because I never want to look a certain way. And that's really where it comes down to. I still don't break rules. I still, you know, unless I know I can get away with it. And why is that? Because I know I can get away with it. I know I'm not going to look bad because no one's going to see it. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And that's why I don't do things for people unless I want to do things for people. Sounds shitty and narcissistic. But when I do things for people, like nice things for people, I do it when they're not looking. I seriously do. When I do nice things for people, I don't want them to say thank you. I don't want them to acknowledge me. That makes it so awkward for me. I'm just like, you know, give them a gift. Thank you. Like, one time when I was at my aunt's house, I got her a mug. And it said aunt on it, whatever. And I just left it on her counter. And I didn't say nothing. I didn't say like, here you go. I didn't want no attention. But I wanted to give my aunt a gift. So I just left it on her counter. And she was confused. She was like, where did this come from? And I was like sleeping. I'm there in the kitchen having a whole like conversation. Where did this come from? All because I don't want people to see me do nice things for people. Or like I'll clean the house when no one's home, or you know, shit like that. Because I don't want any recognition, right? So that's kind of me in a nutshell. But yeah, the one song, We're Going Back Again by Marina and the Diamonds, it goes, it's called Obsessions. This is also about OCD, and like I said, I don't have OCD, but the OCD community, I feel like as a whole is like, I don't know, I feel like they have more examples out there than just the straight up anxiety community. I don't know why, but and like, you know, the parts of mental illnesses, like a lot of them like coincide, right? So anyways, she's talking about, I think the words are, what does she say? I've listened to this song so many times. She said, supermarket. What package of crackers too thick? They're all the same. One brand, one name. Oh, and then she says, quick. People are staring. Times go quick, or something like that. Skin is on fire. Just choose something, something, something. Pressure overwhelming. Next minute, I am turning out of the door, facing 1 week without food. A day, well, things are pretty bad, but don't let it make you feel bad. Crackers were probably bad luck anyway. Yeah. And I think the part where she was like talking about like people are staring, gotta go quick, gotta choose something. Whew, struck a nerve, man. I was crying to that song. Like even now, if I like listen to it, because I've heard it a million times, if I listen to that part, it makes me emotional because it's like that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh no, I gotta choose something. Like when you're at the store and you're like, I don't know what to get, blah blah blah, and then you see people behind you and you're like, oh shit, I need to get out of the way, and then you end up like choosing nothing, right? It's like, oh fuck it, and then that's that, you know. Who cares? You didn't get your shopping done or whatever. Who cares? Like the anxiety wins over that. I actually have been at the store before and just abandoned my cart because I'm like, oh, this is really overwhelming. So anyways, thank you to Marina for putting out that song because I really do resonate with that, and I know a lot of people do as well. But yeah, those are just two examples that get how I feel. There's a new song called Anxiety. Shit. I think Doechie's on the chorus. Anxiety keeps on trying me. Yeah. That one I really get too. But yeah, and then Megan has also spoke up on it, which I really appreciate. With her song, her song was just like, oh gosh, she's a lot, but not a lot, like 2 or 3 songs talking about mental, but it's so good to talk about though, for real, because it really ends the stigma, and that was kind of like my goal for the year, honestly. Like I have a bingo card, and one of them is do something to like end the stigma of mental health. And honestly, when she said this pussy depressed, I felt it. And I know a lot of other people felt it too. And it's shit like that that we need. That's just kind of like silly and it sounds crazy and out there. But if you're going through it, you get it. And you can have a laugh because you know someone else has been through the same shit as you. And that's always been like my goal with like my videos too, is to just, you know, make people feel less alone. Cheers. I've really been trying though, you know, I've really been trying. And so I don't say this to be like poor me, okay? Big disclaimer across the whole video because I'm not gonna keep saying this, but not poor me. Don't feel bad for me. It is what it is, okay? Alright. But I've just been like struggling with that honestly the most. And so when I went to therapy, And that was my main thing, was anxiety at the store, anxiety, working, like all that shit, because I have not had a normal job in so long. Like, I did summer school this summer, which was awesome for me, honestly. Um, because that was me kind of like stepping out of my comfort zone for the first time in a long time and working in the schools, which I don't know if you would trust me with your child by this example, but I really do like working with the kids. I don't know why. They just make me laugh. I feel like I am a kid at heart, and so I can kind of connect on that level. But, and I try to be fair and listen to them. But yeah, so anyways, I did summer school this summer. I worked with the EL program, which is fun, for like a month, and that was good for me. But besides that, I really haven't had like a regular job in over a year, which is scary, because it's like I feel like the longer I stay not working, the worse it gets. But I've started plenty of jobs over the past year, and all of them are just bad. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I just freak out and leave, and like that's not good. And I've definitely talked about this on my YouTube before, but so I feel like a broken record. But I don't know. I just hate it. Like, I feel like a shitty person because I feel like I have like an okay resume, so I usually get job interviews, and it's not hard for me to land a job. That makes me feel so bad because I feel like I waste people's time when I go to an interview, and I act like I really want the job because I do, I think. Now I don't know, and then I quit after like a week, or don't even show up. It's like, bitch, you just wasted these people's time, and it makes me feel like I'm a bad person, and I'm not here to like get sympathy or anything like that. And do I think I'm a bad person? No. But when I do that shit, it feels like I'm not, or it feels like I am a bad person, and it's just not a good look on me, and it is wrong. And it doesn't matter what mental illness I have, that's still a shitty thing to do, and I know it, and that's why I'm trying to like get out of that cycle and just not take a job if I know I'm not gonna show up and do it, really. That means I'm gonna be unemployed a little bit longer, okay, but I'm not trying to let everyone down. And yeah, I'm not doing it for fun. I'm not trying to waste anyone's time. It just kind of is right now. It's because I feel good in the moment, and then when reality kind of kicks in and like I have to get up, I have to get dressed or whatever, fuck it, I also feel like I do things sometimes for other people so that they don't think I'm like a bum or like I'm not doing anything with my life, But it's like I need my bills paid because I'm still gonna just be depressed, if I don't have my bills paid and I have to worry about money. I really wish I just never quit the schools, but that is what it is, because at that time when I did quit, I have my reasons, but I think I just should have weighed the pros and cons a little bit more. I think that I really was passionate about working at the school. If you guys don't know, I have worked at the school for this school district for 2 years, another one for another year, as a para, which if you guys don't have that, like everybody has it at their schools, but it's called different things. Well, here it's called paraprofessional, could be called teacher's aide, teacher's assistant, anything like that, but here it's called para. Like, I'm hesitating because I did get stressed out a lot, and I don't want to like look at it like the grass is always greener on the other side. So now I'm saying I loved it, but in the time I said I hated it. I liked it. You know, I liked having a job, and I felt like I had like a real purpose when I did it. And I think just the stress got to me because it is a very stressful job. Yeah, it's a very stressful job. So that kind of got to me. And I just, you know, let it get to me and I quit because I don't have those healthy coping mechanisms, which I'm trying to work on. But yeah, so that's like kind of the last thing I did. And then I think I just never really found something I was so much into as I was into that. And I know a job's a job, but all these freaking jobs cause me anxiety. And I think that when I was a para, I was able to kind of fight that because I was working with the kids. And so I was putting them first. But like working retail or anything like that, it's like, how am I gonna put folding the clothes first? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like less kind of at stake, but those jobs are very stressful, and I'm not knocking anybody who does those jobs because those jobs are important as well. Look down, you're probably wearing clothes. I'm wearing clothes, you know. Someone had to sell these, someone had to design it, someone, you know what I'm saying? But every job is important. Someone painted this wall. Someone made the light I'm using. Someone made the tripod. When I went and bought it, someone cashiered it. You know what I'm saying? Someone stomped on the grapes. But it's like, you know, I think you gotta find out what you're gonna be okay with, I guess, and what kind of stress you can deal with. I put so much of myself into that job, and so when it ended, it's kind of just like, what now? I used to be very proud of my job, and now I just feel like a fuck up. So yeah, I love that for me. And yeah, so that's how I ended up in therapy. I have gone to therapy so many times, you guys, like you don't even understand. Starting in high school really, but I had gone one time and then after I said I was going and never really did and just skipped class instead. Because I had my own car and like my parents worked, so it was really up to me to take myself to those appointments. I lied. I'm sorry. But and then the next time I went would have been in college. We got 10 free sessions. I probably did 8 of them. And then college was a lot for me. I had a lot of shit happen that was traumatic. But it was still the dang anxiety that was getting to me. And I was drinking a lot, not just for a video, but for all the time. Like, I had to go to concerts for the music class that I was in. I went drunk, you know what I'm saying? Why? For fun? No, because I was stressed out. You know, I was abusing Xanax because I just needed to get through my life, man. My man texted me, hold up. Getting ready to lay down. I'm gonna tell him to call me real quick. Hold on, y'all. All right, your girl needs to drink water for a little bit. But anyways, so in college, like, it was a lot. It was a lot of numbing my feelings, my anxiety, like all that, because I didn't want to feel it. And, you know, I think that's okay to a point, but I was getting to that point. I still feel like I'm fucking lost and I don't know how to handle my emotions or anything. You know? It's like when I feel like a little uncomfortable, it's the end of the world. Because it's like my inner voice is like, emergency, emergency, ah. You know? It's like the alarm's going off. But in reality, like, you know, everybody gets uncomfortable at times. Um, it's just I don't know how to deal with that uncomfortable. This is a very bad day to explain this, but I don't drink that much anymore. Apparently, except for when I'm filming a YouTube video, and I don't do any type of drug. I don't even smoke weed, and so it's like I don't have these outside things to deal with my inside. The things that had served me at one point just no longer do, which is good because at least I'm not, you know, damaging myself in those ways, you know. But at the same time, it's like, okay, what are you gonna do to help yourself thrive and deal with the stress, anxiety of just everyday life, you know? So I've been to a psychiatrist. I've been put on medication. At first, the first time I was diagnosed with bipolar, I was 21 and I was going through like a lot. I always am going through a lot, but I always am. And like this friend who I had was no longer my friend told me that. She's like, you're always going through something. Because I said, I'm going through something. She's like, you're always going through something. Yeah, it's because I never resolve these issues, right? They just keep piling on top of each other, but whatever. You know, people in your life, if they want to be there for you while you figure your shit out, okay. If they think that's too much for them, okay. But I was going through some shit at the time, and they had diagnosed me with bipolar. Oh fuck, I just spilled the water. Shit just really got out of hand. I couldn't keep a relationship, and that's one thing. I was always like, you know, once I find love, like everything will be awesome. You know, I'm not gonna be crazy anymore. You know, I'm gonna be good. The truth of the matter, now that I found love, I'm very much in love. I love my man with everything I have. Like literally. And he's been a big help for me. He's like kind of why I'm not completely going off the rails right now. But in a way that's not codependent, because that's really important. If you have any type of mental illness, is to make sure you're not codependent, because that gets bad. But he does his thing, and then I do my thing, and then I'm trying to get my shit together. But you know, that at the end of the day is really up to me. You know, he's not gonna fix all my problems, and he knows that. And now that I'm where I'm at now, I know that. And before, I thought, you know, that a man would. And now I'm finding out that no, girl, you have to do that yourself. So even though I'm in love and I'm in this relationship, it doesn't solve my problems. So, but it does in fact motivate me. I swear I speak like I'm AI sometimes. It does though motivate me to get better, because I want to be better for myself, but I want to be better for him as well. This man is an angel walking the earth. I swear to God, he's not perfect. He has his things, but he is just amazing to me, right? And he does a lot for me. So I want to get to a spot where I'm good. You know what I'm saying? You know. So yeah. Love you. And that's another thing. I'm like, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to be annoying. Annoying? Like, girl, you're just talking about your feelings. Like, it's okay to feel. it's okay to be in your lover girl era. Like, it's literally fine. And yeah, no, we've been together for 2 years. And yeah, it's good. But anyways, besides that, yeah, it's true though. It's true. You had to be in charge of your own mental, and I think that's where kind of people get into some trouble in relationships when people are mentally ill. Is that they expect the other person, you know, to handle all their shit, or you know, just lean on them too much. Like, you should lean on your partner in a relationship, and you should be comfortable doing that, but also, you know, your recovery has to be your journey and your path, because shit happens, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be with my man forever, but shit happens, right? And so if there was a day that I was on my own, I need to be okay being on my own, you know? Because if you're too codependent, if that other person goes, you go. You know what I'm saying? And that's bad. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I want to do good for me as well. I don't want just my motivation to be other people. I want to thrive for me, and I want me thriving to benefit everybody else, you know? Because when I win, they're gonna win. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So, anyways, that's that. But it's all, I'm trying to get to the point. But like I said, this is just a drunk conversation with my besties. And yeah. I've been on medication and it helps, but what it helps with is it helps me. This is how I want it. It's like when you put on glasses, and I wear glasses too. Mind you, I'm supposed to. That's why I'm always. It's because I'm not wearing them. But when you put on glasses, right, you see it corrects your vision to 2020, so you can see how everyone else sees. And I think that's the same with me for my antidepressants and mood stabilizer. Is it corrects me. So I'm at the same baseline as everyone else, but I still have my anxieties and phobias and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And so those things are not fixed. I can be in an even mood, or, you know, not like depressed as a default, which is what my default is set at, is depressed. But this brings it, you know, back up to everyone else, so it's like a fair game. But, you know, if I still have things that are making me sad, they're gonna make me sad. A lot of people, I think I've seen the like argument that I don't want to be on antidepressants because it's gonna just numb me out. If you're on the right one, it won't. It will just get you to a steady neutral. It should, baseline, you know, not too crazy, not too down in the dump, just like neutral, right? So I'm at the neutral, but I still have shit that's bothering me, so I'm still gonna be depressed. You know, it's like breakthrough, you know what I'm saying? Breakthrough depression, breakthrough anxiety. That's kind of what I'm experiencing, because I am in fact heavily medicated, but it is what it is. I've been taking the medication after being diagnosed with what's it called, bipolar, and that's what I take the medication for. No one else ever like came to that conclusion, and it's kind of weird dealing with mental health professionals nowadays, because I feel like a lot of them actually don't want to give you a diagnosis or a label of any type. And they'll say like, oh, we treat symptoms, right? And so I think what mine says, like what it reads as, if you look at my file, and I was like looking at my file yesterday because I was curious, it said Kelly is a 28-year-old female who enjoys spending time with her family and partner. I was like, why does it sound like I'm on an HGTV television show? Hey, girl. And it said strengths. It said strengths. Um, Physically healthy, good support system, which is true. Slay. And then it said, I don't think it said weaknesses. I think it said like challenges, symptoms of depression and anxiety and PTSD. So that's what it says. Like, these people right now are really pushing the PTSD thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where I'm like, it's not that I'm like rejecting the diagnosis, but I'm like rejecting the diagnosis. The people right now are basically saying that I have trauma and that's what's causing all these problems. But for me, and I'm not a professional, I think I had all these issues before I had the trauma because for me, like, my main issue is anxiety and depression, and it was really before the fact, you know. I think that the traumatic events that have happened in my life have happened because I was self-medicating with drugs or alcohol or what have you, and I got into some pretty not good situations. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so for them to say it's PTSD or, you know, that's the problem here, I'm just like, no. Yeah. And so that's kind of what stinks right now. It stinks, you guys. Is that I feel like, not like I'm not heard, but I feel like they're gonna tell me things and I'm like, okay, but it's really not like that. You know what I'm saying? And so what that therapist had said to me was, she was like, so she basically said that I'm not making any progress, which is cute, and that I should do like a different kind of therapy, I guess, focusing on trauma. That's funny because I've done that before. You know what I'm saying? Like, she recommended EMDR, which is, I did it, like, I've had so many therapists, you know what I'm saying? Is it's basically like a reprocessing of the trauma. And so what I'm saying is that I feel like I've done that before. And I feel like the things that were traumatic for me no longer are. And I feel like that's okay. You know, I'm okay with it now, right? But what they're saying is like, oh, well, you still have so much anxiety, you still have, you know, so much depression, and like basically like it's probably because of the trauma and because I need to move on from it. And I'm here like, yes, I have. And they're like, well, it could be like trapped like in the body or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. But I just don't know. Because it feels like my day-to-day shit is more about like, it's more about just like being like overwhelmed and stressed out and not knowing how to act in public, and, you know, being afraid of being perceived a certain way. It doesn't feel like it's about like, oh, you know, remember when that happened in college? That was not good. You know, it feels like I'm kind of past that shit. I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah, so anyway, she told me that what we're doing isn't working. And that's really disappointing because I feel like I have been working really hard. It's not like I'm just like dismissing what they're saying, even though it seems like I am right now, deleting their whole diagnosis. But it's not that I'm not trying, because I am. What she's done is probably like try and come up like coping mechanisms, I guess, to deal with everything, the trauma. Um, but unfortunately, since I've been through so much therapy and since I've been online and read books and listened to other people's YouTube videos like about um anxiety and depression and shit like this, and like the more good things to do. Um, Even with the job that I had, that's why I started to say work. Even with the job I've had, I know this shit because I'm supposed to teach this shit to the kids. Take a deep breath, take a time out, go for a walk, breathe, box breathing, like all types of breathing. Meditation. Like I know all about that shit is the problem. And I think that's where we hit a wall, is because she's trying to teach me these things I've already heard of and I've already tried to do. Journaling, like all this shit, like I've tried it all, and I think she's basically like, okay, well, we can't, continue to do this dance. For me, what do I need? I'm trying to think. I guess I just need to be heard. I think that's it. I think I just need to vent and talk about it. Like this. This is what I need. So maybe I'll just make more videos. I don't fucking know. But that's all. Like, I just need to be heard. But she told me that she's going to refer to me to somebody who, like, specializes, I guess, in trauma. And so she did. And then it's just like, it's just the same thing. Like, it's so discouraging because, it's a man this time. And I never really had a male therapist. So I was like, Honestly, I was like, I could try, I guess. I don't know. But he was like one of the only like specialists like on their team or whatever. So I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Basically, I said to this woman, I said, I'll try everything. I said, I'll try anything. But yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, you know what, I'll try it, whatever. Sign me up. So I did that appointment and I did that intake or whatever. I don't know, you guys. I don't know if I have it in me because basically when I got referred to him, my whole file got sent over to him, and I just wasn't expecting that. Like, I don't know what I was expecting, but he just brought it up, like, casually, in casual conversation. He's like, yeah, I know you've been through X, Y, and Z, but yada, yada, yada. And I was like, oh. And I felt like I was called out, even though I wasn't. But just him like throwing that in there casually, like kind of ruined my day. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm being vague. Yeah, I'm being vague. But basically, he just threw out something I've been through. Right? You know. But he just like mentioned it, right? And I was like, yeah, shit. I almost started crying. Like, I don't really do that. And like, this whole video I've had a smile on my face. But I was like, oh shit. Like, I feel like he might as well have just punched me because I was like, whole vibe changed. And I think other people can tell that about me. Like, if something like sets me off or triggers me, I will be this vibe. This is the vibe that you get usually. Happy, like, you know, whatever. Um, but when something like upsets me or triggers me, I just go flat. So I'll be like, it's like I do smile, but it's like nothing behind it, you know? I'll be like, yeah, you know? And I've seen this in other people, and it kind of breaks my heart is when you see somebody and they're like smiling, but you can tell they're hurting at the same time. And I can see it because that's also me. And so, yeah, I was like, oh. And I just really wasn't expecting that to be brought up. Even though it's fucking therapy, you know what I'm saying? It's like, girl, of course they're gonna talk about trauma, like it's literally therapy, but I don't know. And so, yeah, and then at the end he's like, oh yes, and I also have to ask you if you're feeling suicidal today because it says you feel that way about once or twice a year. I was like, what? I was like, excuse me? I was like, oh no, I'm good. Even if she made a note to ask, I don't think he had to say because you feel that once or twice a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he didn't like mean it any type of way, but shit. I was just like, oh, it's not that time yet. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah. And then that kind of upset me because I was like, shit. I was like, I do, huh? And see, that's another thing that's hard to talk about is suicidal thoughts and all that shit. I'm not gonna go too into that right now because it's literally 1 in the morning. But yeah, I do feel that way sometimes. And the way I feel it is that I feel like, I don't know how to put it. It's like when I get to that place, it just feels like I'm done with my life and I want to like rage quit it. I just feel so depressed and I feel like I'm always gonna feel this way and I feel like nothing's gonna get better. And that's kind of it. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I know other people probably feel the same way sometimes and I'm not the only one. But I just start to feel like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? It's like I want to log off. Like, I don't know how else to put it. But yeah, I want to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of the time. But yeah, it is like every now and then it's like, okay, I get into that way. I'm like, what's the point? But for the most part, I'm good. I want to see what happens, really, and that's kind of why I stay here, is for the plot. I don't think that's my journey. That's not my journey. But I do understand why people do, because life is hard and it can feel very isolating at times. So yeah, that's a hard thing to talk about. It really is. I've had times where, like, I have drank a lot and took pills at the same time and gone to bed thinking like, oh well, if this is it for me, this is it for me. You know what I'm saying? But I've never had like an like official intentional attempt. So yeah. And that's where I'm at with that, honestly. But yeah. My life sometimes it feels like not my own. If that makes sense. It feels like somebody else's. I think that's dissociation or whatever, but or depersonalization. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it feels like this isn't my life. I don't know how to put it. But yeah, no, it is kind of hard. Um, if you think a lot, I think the more that you think, the harder it gets. Because at least I start to think about everything. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? You know, is it worth it? Is it important? Do people hate me? You know, like shit like that. And then it's like, why am I here if it's just, you know, suffering all the time? You know, why do I have to go through every single day? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I have to get up? And what really gets me is when I think about the future too much, or if I think about like, oh, I have to do this every day, oh, I'm tired, oh, that's when it really gets me, is when I think about life in a way that just like never ending, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. I think the worst I've been is when I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I have to do another day, and I'm thinking like, oh, I have to get out of bed and I have to put on makeup and I have to go to work and I have to put on an outfit and then I have to get through 7 hours of that shit and then I have to go home and then I have to shower and then you know, when I'm thinking about like all the different steps, because if you're mentally ill every step is hard, you know. It's like you have to bring yourself to do all this shit. And so that's when I really start to feel it. You know what I'm saying? So the best thing for myself is to not think. I know that sounds so bad, but that's when I do the best. Is when I'm just not thinking, unfortunately. So yeah, just don't think. That's my just don't think 2024. But yeah, it's when I just am doing shit. I don't know. It's like separating yourself, you know what I'm saying, from the action. It's weird. The more I think about it, the weirder it gets. Like, I definitely separate my soul from my body and like everything else like outside of me, because it's so weird. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I just feel separate. I feel really separate from my life. And I feel like Kelly is different from me. I don't know, it's a weird thing. It feels like I am Kelly, but at the same time, I'm like something else. I don't know how else to put it. My principal from when I was at Catholic school, he always told us, he's like, you are a spiritual being having a human relation or having a human experience. And I get it. I do, I get it. Because it feels like we're more than ourselves. And it kind of feels like this is the assignment I've been given, if that makes sense. And I know that my time on earth is limited. And I do want to make the best of it, you know what I'm saying? It feels like, you know, in school when they like give you a poster board for an assignment, you can do what you want with it. That's what it feels like. That's what life feels like. We're just given a fucking big white paper and do what you want with it, right? That's what it feels like. And so at the end of the day, it really feels like nothing matters and everything matters, like at the same time. I care about my friends and my family and my man. That's it. Do I care about myself? Maybe. But I care about all those connections I have, and yeah. But yeah, no. Ooh, I feel like I just, like, don't want to hang up. That's what this feels like. It feels like a phone call I don't want to hang up on. Which is okay because I've been thinking about a lot of shit, so I'll just let you have it until I have to go to bed. But I've just, I've just been thinking about that a lot. And then so lately I've been thinking about like soul purpose and like all that shit just because I feel like my purpose it gets lost sometimes, but I feel like I am a storyteller and a writer. Like, I hesitate so much when I say that, but I feel like, that's the one thing that I've always loved to. You guys are gonna get me crying at some point here because of my 2 giant glasses of wine. Good guys, like 4 glasses basically, but ever since I was little, like little, I didn't really sleep at night. I think that's because that's when nobody else was awake. And so we always shared rooms because it was like a 3-bedroom house. And then it was like my parents, me, and one of my brothers. At one point, it was 3 of us in the bedroom, and then my older brother was in there. And because he was kind of mean, like not like super mean, but like we just kind of. So it was me and my 3 brothers, and him, and I would just be awake at night, and then I remember my dad, he had got me like a Walkman, because I'm old as hell, and he got me a CD, and because he's old as hell, he got me the Monkees. I don't even know if you guys know who the Monkees are. I did some research and it feels like they were just like a boy band for like 1 second, there and gone. But yeah, no, he got me a Monkey CD, and they have a song, "Hey, hey, we're the Monkees." And then they also, what is it? "Cheer up, sleepy G." And anyways, I would have my headphones on and I would just be listening all night long. I love music. And that's kind of where that happened. But music is, people want to say it's poetry, it is, but it's writing. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything you hear in a song or whatever, someone had to write that, right? And so I would listen to music, and then I had a lot of books. My grandpa, for Christmas, he would come and he would give us $50, which was a lot of money back then. A lot of money. It would go way further than it does right now. And we would go to the bookstore, Barnes and Noble, and we would get any book we wanted. Spoiled. But yeah, that's what we did. So he gave us $50 specifically to spend at the bookstore. And yeah, I always remember that was really fun. I don't know where he came up with that, honestly. I don't know if he was really a reader or what it was, but that's what it was. It was $50. Go to the bookstore, not go to the toy store, not go to the game store, like not go to Blockbuster. It's like go to the bookstore. And so I would read my little books. I would read Junie B. Jones. Like, we love that bitch. But yeah, I would read those books. Junie B. Jones, Babysitter's Club, like all that shit. I would be reading it in my bed while my baby brother is sleeping, and you would hear his, like, he had like a fish aquarium thing, but it wasn't a fish, and it would go on the side of his bed and like basically make white noise. It'd be that in the background. It'd be me with my little Walkman and like reading my books. And so that is basically my life in a nutshell. People talk about inner child a lot, but that's who we are, though. I feel like when you're little, that is the purest form of yourself you will ever be, because that's before you let the judgments get to you. You know, that's before you had expectations. Like, that's just you. And so I always loved music. I always loved stories. And I would even write my own little stories with my little crayons and paper, printer paper that I stole from, you know, my parents. I even remember, this is like just unlocked right now. My mom had this old ass computer, so old, and this is weird, but it was nature themed. I don't like when you started it up, it would like make nature stuff. Like, I don't know if that's really a thing or what, but I don't think she put it on it herself. If it was the default, but it was nature themed. I don't know. I can look this up. I think it was a Lenovo, but I don't know. But it was like a nature themed laptop, and the cursor was broken. I remember that. It was like torn off, but you could still use it. And I would write my little stories on there. Like, I would type them up, and that's me. You know, that's me before the bullshit happened, or people got to me, or insecurities got to me. You know what I'm saying? And so I try my best to like stick to that, you know what I'm saying? And so I've been working on my book lately, and I think doing that really does honor the me that I was and that I've always been, and the inner child. Ooh, it's so emotional. But that's just because I'm honoring myself, you know what I'm saying? The Olympics is going on right now. Some people, you know, are really into different sports, and, you know, they feel the most them when they're playing sports, or, you know, whatever. But I feel the most me when I'm writing. And so that's why I try to do it. Now, what gets in the way of doing that for me, I would say, is a couple of things. What gets in the way for me is, first of all, feeling like it's not good enough, or it's bad, or it's cringe. Okay, that's number one. But number two, I feel like I'm afraid of failure. And I'm like, what if I put all this time into it and nobody likes it? And then I waste all that time. And then, you know, and then what? I also think that, you know, if I go to college, go back to college, which I'm doing, that I should pick a path that has like an end game. You know what I'm saying? Like teaching. That was like my main major when I started, was teaching, and then I ended up switching it a million times. Because that actually has a career outlook right there, and majoring in English doesn't really. Like, it's like you can study English and everything, but there's no like end game there, you know. It's really up to you what you're gonna do with it, if you're gonna do anything with it. Yeah. But for me, I just want to write. That's the only thing that I can sit down and do for hours and hours, and like not even think about time or how much time has passed or anything like that. Like, it just really does flow out of me. I'm not saying I'm Emily Dickinson or anything, but that's kind of it for me. And so when I do that and experience that and look up and 4 hours has passed, yeah, that's kind of how I know that is what I should be doing in my life. But also, like I said, it's a lot of fear of failure and fear of being seen, because I'm going to start this program, I'm going to start my English degree or whatever, and I'm scared because I don't want other people to read what I wrote. And I've been told I'm a good writer, but it's by like friends and family. It's not by, you know, other people. But I do have to put myself out there, because then I'll never, if I not, I'll never know. So yeah, I'm kind of hesitant to enter the program for those reasons. I feel like I'm different too, and I hate that. But when I started college, um, I did this with no segue. When I started college when I was 18, I thought about being an English major, but I didn't want to because my mom did that, and she's an English professor and everything like that, even though I went to a different school than the one she teaches at. I just didn't want to. I wanted to do my own thing and be my own person, even though it's like, girl, you still are your own person. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, and then I remember I did a creative writing class and I loved it. And when I think of college, I still think of that class, even though that was like literally my second semester of freshman year. And then we did like a reading, and I read something I wrote off the cuff. It wasn't even good, but I remember I felt so good. And I felt like this is me, you know what I'm saying? And my teacher, she told me, she's like, what did she say? I don't even remember the whole extent. But she was like, are you an English major? I was like, no. And she was like, oh, well, you should be. And she basically said, she's like, I was an education major too until I stopped fighting it. I was like, girl, what? But I see what she's saying, because it is such a, like, and any artist, if you're watching this, understands, like, it is such a pull to do something that's more practical. But then we are given our passions and shit like that for a reason, you know what I'm saying? If the world was all writers, obviously we wouldn't get anything done, because a lot of writing is procrastinating. But it's not. And so we do have a lot of people who are called to be doctors and shit like that. Well, okay, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? And it's really interesting that she said stop fighting it, right? That's what really got me. And it got me because I totally understood what she was saying. The tea. And I knew it. I knew what she meant. So, what did I do after we had that conversation? Nothing. I changed my major to marketing. I changed my major to communications. I changed my major back to education. I did all this shit. I became a para. I didn't write for a really long time. Because it's scary. It's scary to follow your dreams, and it's scary to admit you care about something, and that's me to a nutshell. It's like, I don't want to admit that I'm passionate about anything or I care about anything, because I feel like it'll get snatched away from me, or I feel like it'll get dismissed, or I feel like I'll be made fun of. And so that's why I act all nonchalant, but I'm an Aquarius rising, Capricorn sun. But it's just like, care about shit, girl. You should care about shit, and you should care about your life and who you are. You know what I'm saying? And so anyways, this year I decided to go back to school. It's so weird how this shit came to be. Because I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. But I feel like I've been at these jobs and it's just really not doing it for me. And I'm anxious all the time, and nothing's feeling right. I don't care about anything, or I care about shit too much, and it's just like a whole thing. And my biggest regret was not finishing college. And so, I looked into it, and I seen that I can go back, or I saw, like, for someone who's says they're into English and writing and shit. I don't talk like it, but I saw that, you know, I can go back. So I applied to go back and they said, yeah, okay. And I applied for financial aid and they said, sure. And so now I'm going back to school. It's crazy. But I am, and it's a long time coming, and I really regret that I had dropped out. And that's what I was saying. I'm like, this is my biggest regret in life, is dropping out of college. You know what I'm saying? And so now, at 28 years old, I'm readdressing my biggest regret, and I'm going back, and I'm making it right. You know? And I'm chasing a dream. That's crazy. And so, in 2 to 2.5 years, you will see a video of your girl walking across the stage and getting her pointless degree in English. Because this is what I feel called to do, you know what I'm saying? And so anyways, that's that. So in conclusion, what did we talk about today? We talked about, we talked about my mental, we talked about that for a very long time. We talked about school, we talked about soul purposes, and yeah, that's that. I just feel very much like stuck in this cycle that is, you know, try and make my life better, try and be less depressed, try and be less anxious, try and tell myself, oh, this job's gonna work out, oh, you know, I'll just try extra hard, you know, and it just never does. And I think that's just because I wasn't aligned with the path that I'm called to be on. I'm just trying to make anything work at this point. And yeah, I don't know how else to put it. I feel very in tune though, I think, with the universe and everything like that, and in my soul and everything like that. And I know I sound crazy, and I hate it. I hate to talk about shit like this because I feel like I sound crazy. But I do think that I've known what I wanted to do from a very young age, which is right. And I've known who I am for a very young age as well. And I think that me, as that teacher has said, fighting it isn't doing me any good. And I think that, yeah, I am going to be depressed and upset, and feel lost, you know, naturally, because I'm not on the path I know I should be on. If anyone can relate to this, let me know. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I sound woo crazy, manic when I talk about this shit. And since I have labeled bipolar, it does kind of keep me, I guess, from posting shit like that and just like rambling on because it sounds manic, you know? But this is just a heart to heart. This is just me opening up and being real. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you know what you're meant to be doing, I would love to see the comment below. And I challenge you all, what were you made for? What were you made for? Why do you think that you're on this planet Earth? Like, what do you think your purpose is? Do you know what your purpose is? Yeah, I just feel like that's my, and it sounds a little like also self-centered because it's like, what do you have to write that's like so good and that you're on earth for? Nothing. Literally nothing. But I think that just me doing it for myself is good enough. I don't know. I just, you can love to do very many things. Like, some women I feel like are on the earth to just be mothers and just be very good mothers and everything like that. Yeah, and I would love to do that, but I feel like my calling though is writing. That sounds so shitty, but it's the truth though. Yeah. Um, but I think you can also be called to do multiple things though as well. Cause life isn't just like exclusive to one thing, right? Some people like to, help people a lot. I like to help people, but maybe my helping people is through my writing or through my YouTube videos and whatever. And other people's helping is be like through being a doctor because we need doctors. You know what I'm saying? But if everyone was a doctor, that'd be boring. That would be boring because we're not sick all the time. We need a little entertainment every now and then. So, yeah. I think we all are called to different things, whether it be professionally or not. Some people climb mountains, and they just feel called to do. I do not feel called to do that, so I won't. But yeah. But we all, but we all have our things, and that's why we're all different. And I think it's cool we're all different because if we were all the same, we're bad.